Having spent 6 months training Nathan, our diving instructor, how to be a faith healer, I now want to show him some examples of the ministry lifestyle. So we hire a car and set out to visit the headquarters of the Kenneth Copeland ministry. Copeland's unflinching and dynamic style is typical of preachers in the prosperity gospel movement that's closely allied to faith healing.
We live in a $1 trillion economy and you're broke.
In the prosperity gospel, the biblical idea of as ye sow, so shall ye reap is interpreted financially. Give the pastor a donation and you'll receive 100-fold back from God. And if you don't, it's because you didn't have enough faith. Here you can see Copeland displaying his $20 million tax-free jet, seemingly as evidence of the Lord's grace, his congregation's generosity, and his status as an A-list preacher.
Somebody ought to shout amen!
We arrive at Copeland's compound where he lives and houses his fleet of private jets. So these are the gates of Kenneth Copeland's house. Or compound ranch, and we are already being watched by security. This is where the money goes. We leave quickly before we're asked any awkward questions. However, as we're driving back, we see the main gates to the church and airfield are open, so we drive in and head towards the church. And then we discover how protective they are.
Where did he come from?
Hello, folks. Huh? Hey. I have a call about 3 suspicious vehicles.
We're making a documentary-style film. We're from England. We have a pastor with us who's...
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you.
The local sheriff has been called by Copeland's security team, and after some questioning and discussions with them, the sheriff takes details from some of our passports.
Derren, D-E-R-R-E-N, Brown.
We're concerned to see that this information is then openly shared with Copeland's private security.
Security has told me that they've spoken to this gentleman at least twice about filming.
No, I'm not having that because that's not true.
As the security personnel for the ministry, they have the authority to do this. I will issue each of you in one big group deal a criminal trespass warning.
Which means if we set foot on Copeland's property within the next 12 months, we will be arrested immediately.
So we've just come up against the kind of security that these people have. The worry, though, is now they've taken our details. If they Google me, they can find out what it is that I do and where I come from. If they search for you, they can find out that that isn't your real name. They've also got our details for the show. The concern is now they could work out what we're doing. Then we may not have a show at all on Saturday. That's our concern.
Faith healing doesn't just affect those in pursuit of a miracle. John Edwards was a practicing preacher working apparent miracles at his ministry. His daughter died, aged 14, from a brain tumour, after he delayed seeking medical help, believing instead that God would heal her. After 10 years, he became disillusioned with faith healing and bravely told his congregation the truth. I asked him about some of the healing techniques being used.
What you do is you start pumping the meeting. We're having a healing meeting. So-and-so, evangelist so-and-so is going to be here this week. If you know someone that's sick, get them here, they're going to get healed. And you're emphatic about it. They will get healed. I don't care if they got AIDS, birth defects, cancer, diabetes, anything, they're going to get healed. So there's already the adrenaline's running. It's hypnotic. If you have 300 people there, somebody's got a toothache, somebody's got a backache, somebody's got upset tummy, or a headache, and he would say, tell me how long your head's been hurting. Do you believe that when they lay hands on you that you'll be healed?
Yes.
And they, Jesus! Like that. Adrenaline shoots through their body, the pain's gone.
Yeah.
So they're going to come off the floor and they're going to say, I'm healed. Well, they got healed of stuff adrenaline will fix. But when it comes to a paraplegic, a brain tumor, Down syndrome, amputees, have you ever seen meetings where amputees got their legs back?
No. It seems to be missing, yeah.
Now my definition of miracle is different.
Yeah.
Back then, if you had a toothache and it went away, that was a miracle.
Yeah.
This is so difficult. This is so difficult.
And I keep having to remind myself that it's important. People throw away their medicine and they die because they believe these people are healing them. People give their last penny to this movement, money they can't afford. People that don't get healed are told to blame themselves because their faith wasn't strong enough. When I speak to people that have had first-hand experience of how nasty that world can be, it keeps me going. It reminds me that it is important.
We're halfway through our US adventure. Nathan's hardly had a chance to let his hair down, and today's his birthday. So we throw a surprise party in my luxurious low-ceilinged suite, complete with tacos and real American champagne. It's a welcome bit of light relief for everyone, and Nathan can leave Pastor James at the door and spend a couple of hours just being himself. Nathan's experience at the faith healing service earlier in the week made a big impression on him, and Pastor Sean Pinder was certainly not shy in front of our cameras, and so we called him up. We thought that if we could get him to our revival event on Saturday, it might help increase the attendance.
So, me and my wife, listen, we're going to be there. I feel like this is a God moment, Pastor James. So, I will be there.
We're treading a very fine moral line, and it's a difficult position for Nathan to be in. Having met Pastor Sean, I can see that Nathan is again having conflicting thoughts about the continuing deception.
You're doing the Lord's work, Pastor James.
We've arranged a rehearsal for Nathan and the musicians involved in the show. He's also meeting his worship leader, Brenda, for the first time. More than just a singer, Brenda's an experienced worship leader. Her job is to create the right atmosphere for the event and to get the audience into a receptive state before Pastor James takes to the stage.
So yeah, I've explained that you're going to be going through the sermon as if there was a full audience there, so you don't need to worry about that seeming, you know, odd.
It's vital that Brenda and the band believe in Pastor James and his mission, so he needs to stay in character the whole time. But we learn that Brenda has some friends in Uganda and is keen to chat with Pastor James about his experiences there.
Yeah, I just avoid talking too much about Uganda in detail. Or enjoy it and see what you can get away with.
I spent the good part of the last 10 years in Uganda.
Nathan is hitting the Ugandan issue straight on, which may be an overconfident move. And having introduced himself to Brenda and the band, they continue rehearsing whilst we discuss our game plan for the day. I tell Nathan that I think it's a good idea to rehearse the whole sermon here, which he's not happy about. And despite being in full view of everyone, a difficult exchange ensues.
We're here for one thing, just to get a sense of the musical company. So it is a good idea, and that's what...
Do you want me to fall apart and be shit, or do you want it to be good?
No, I just want you just to bump through that a little bit.
Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. You guys keep changing stuff. Fucking believable. He was getting rather stressed and started swearing, and the bongo player heard. It's not good.
Come on, everybody, put your hands together.
I'm aware of Nathan's discomfort with this situation, but I think it's important for him to see it through, despite the obvious tension in the room.
Thank you all for having me here tonight. My name is James.
This isn't the first time that his nerves have affected Nathan in this way, and I'm concerned with how he's dealing with pressured situations.
Should we move towards the end of the testimony?
Yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. So,
You're doing good.
thanks. At least somebody thinks so.
After the rehearsal, I talked to Nathan in the car park about what had happened.
How are you feeling in yourself after that?
They must smell that something's a bit odd about all that.
When we were having that conversation about whether you were going to give a little bit of the prayer section or not, and you were getting quite stressed about that, and you ended up going, it's fucking unbelievable. And you were seen doing that, and the bongo player kind of saw you.
Don't make out one time I blow up. Just don't keep pushing something that we've agreed on. And that was what we were talking about.
You can't say this is fucking unbelievable in front of the band. You can't do that, mate. If there's something you don't understand, you go like, should we have a chat about this? You remain in character.
We agreed on something, and then you seem to change that again just before I'm about to go on, as if the pressure of the situation is going to make me do whatever
and
you want. And I agreed what I was going to do, then you changed it.
Yeah.
If you do that just before I go on, then you're not going to get a very good performance, are you?
If that happens again, if you feel there's a conflict for whatever reason, we've spoken about it, something's changed
Don't create the conflict is the answer.
It's going to be a lot of conflict. We've got 2
Why?
days. There's going to be a lot of conflict between now and Saturday. There's going to be a lot of stress. You have to handle that stress. And if you can't...
Darren, this whole thing is stressful. This whole thing is a weight.
Yeah. So you
I've handled
me...
it all the time. But if you're going to push me to the nth degree, then I'm either going to leave the building and not do this at all, or we can do what we agreed instead of changing it at the last moment, because that is just... I don't understand how you think that's going to help me do this well. You feel that healing power. You feel that healing power. Can you feel that?
Yes. Feel it.
What's it like? What does it feel like?
It's a tingling feeling in my leg now.